As the stage is getting set, first off, let me take this opportunity to call upon our moderator, an independent director at Marie Systems. He is an experienced corporate leader, serving as an independent director not just as Marie System at IICA, corporate director at IOD. He's also recognized evangelist in tokenization, secure payments, and authentication technologies. Has his deep expertise in fintech and advises on business strategy and digital transformation in the BFSI sector. Please join me in giving a big round of applause as we invite on stage Mr. Prashant Pereira. Mr. Pereira, I believe you joining us on stage, everyone's quiet suddenly. It's like the boss is here. Joining Mr. Pereira on stage would be our eminent panelists, starting with Mr. Shankar Jadhav, Director, Blue Rock CIO, and the Director at Technocraft Industries. He brings deep expertise in the MSMEs as a mentor, investor, and a senior partner at Singhania & Co. He's also held key roles at BSE Investments and other investment initiatives in the past, and with a rich background in finance, strategy, and entrepreneurship. Thank you, Mr. Jadhav, for joining us. Please join me in giving him a big, big round of applause. We also have Prashant Sawant, Senior Director at Capgemini, where he leads strategic initiatives and drives business transformation projects. Also brings in his specializing in delivering innovative solutions that enhance the operational efficiency. Thank you, Mr. Sawant, for joining us. We do see and hear a few of you clapping, but I'm seeing if we can all get everyone. Come on, everyone. We also have Chandramouli P., the CTO of Humane Tech, an AI, ML, and blockchain evangelist with a deep expertise in fintech and innovative technology strategies. And joining him would be Deepak Bhatia, co-founder, CBO QuickWork, a leading no-code API-first automation platform where he plays a key role in driving their global business expansion, strategic partnerships, and revenue growth. And as we have all of them with us on the platform.
So, good afternoon, everybody, and good afternoon, our esteemed panelists. Without much further ado, as India moves towards 2047, 100 years of independence, we are not just looking at a milestone. We are looking at a defining moment. In 1991, economic liberalization reshaped our trajectory. In 2000, IT services positioned India as the world's back office. In 2010, Digital India and India Stack redefined public digital infrastructure at population scale. Now, the 2020s present something far bigger. The real question is not whether AI will transform India. The question is, will India lead the transformation or simply consume it? Okay. We have unique structural advantages. 1.4 billion people generating real-world scale data. We have a thriving startup ecosystem, digital public infrastructure unmatched globally, a young workforce ready to reskill, and a strong policy push towards semiconductor and AI missions. But we also face hard questions. Are we building sovereign AI capabilities? Are we preparing our workforce fast enough? Can we ensure AI benefits Bharat, not just boardrooms? And can we balance innovation with responsibility? Today's discussion is about ambition, but also about execution. If India gets AI right, 2047 could mark not just a developed nation, but a globally influential AI powerhouse, driving inclusive economic acceleration. Let's explore how. And to begin with, I would start with Chandramouli. if India gets AI right by 2047, what does success look like in terms of global influence and societal transformation?
First of all, thanks for the opportunity, and it's great to speak to folks like this who are at the junction of real world impact and seeing the implementation of AI and its impact in the industry, and not just having a techie conversation, right? So, your question about social transformation and global influence, the way I would frame it is if we manage the social transformation within India, if we manage the social impact, the general impact within India, the global aspect will take care of itself. We have an example of UPI, right? It was built for access to the general public, to the wider audience within India, and now it's become a global story, right? Where everybody is vying for that solution. So if we do that, because India is so diverse, because India has such a wide variety of users, right from extremely, well-to-do, wealthy, as well as the extremely lower class, which is struggling day to day, if we build a solution that bridges all these gaps, we will build for the globe. Right? So it's a given. Now, can we do it, and how do we do it is the question. Can we do it? We will have to change our perspective of what we have been doing so far, because we have been thinking of quick wins. That's why we became the GCC standard or the globe, right, the outsourcing place, because we wanted the arbitrage. We didn't really think of building capacity in-house. We didn't become a manufacturing house, right? And the same holds true for AI. We are not really focusing on sovereign AI. We are not focusing on building our own models. We are trying to leverage things. That's going to be needed. If we do that, we will definitely succeed. And I think the push from both the government as well as the private sector is in place for that. Right? You are seeing Sarvam, you are seeing Nani, right? You are seeing Bharat Gen, you are seeing Bhashini. All of these local initiatives are doing really well and are really putting out there. So I don't know if you guys know, but Sarvam's latest AI has beat 11 labs and some of the GPTs in voice, right? The global standards. Nani's Sovereign AI just got launched yesterday at the India Impact Summit. Again, an excellent model, really good. So we are poised to do it as long as we make sure that we are taking that journey to a point where a farmer's daughter in Vidarbha, right, or an elderly person sitting in, let's say MP, is not struggling to manage with the technology. Technology becomes, using AI, technology becomes like an interface that's same for whether you are somebody who's well-versed with technology or not.
Thank you, Chandra. Your thoughts, Devang, right?
Devang.
Yeah.
Sorry, can you just repeat the question if you don't mind?
Yeah. If India gets AI right by 2047, what does success look like in terms of global influence and societal transformation?
One, basically, with 2047 is too fast-paced to think, given the pace at which AI is moving right now, because I would believe in the next 5 years is going to be transformational for all of us. On a society level, one of the fundamental beliefs, I think there has always been a thought and a fear about AI going down, replacing a lot more things. So if you look at, I have just been talking to a lot of people earlier also about old-time sci-fi movies where they showed ghost towns, and basically humanoids taking over the entire city, and basically we've seen a lot of these Hollywood movies out there, and that's unfortunately becoming a reality right now to a certain degree. When we look at things, when you just think of the impact of AI and sovereign AI, and when you look at AI, it is not only about the AI models. I would take into account the entire, the ecosystem of AI, which includes robots also, because you cannot exclude the hardware from the overall piece. Now, one of the biggest things which, for example, as we get more and more corporatized in terms of including your farming practices, including other technological transformations that we're trying to do, there is a kind of a dismal feeling what AI could bring forward for a country like India. We are a country of a large population, number one. Number two is we need to have a kind of responsible AI innovation happening in the country. We need to regulate AI to a certain degree in terms of where and how it should be used. If we do not do that, At one point of time, of course, from an efficiency standpoint, you'll bring in far more efficient work environments out there with robots and basically AI models and everything. And of course, India has a lot of homegrown things which is going to build up on that. But having said that, from a social point of view, it is going to be a mass disaster at some point of time. That's what my personal belief is. I would not like to mince words out there, to be very honest. But as long as you're doing it responsibly, and that has been echoed by a lot of people globally also. On the other side, basically from a developmental aspect, what it could mean for the world, especially from a country like India, we're a very unique position country. Let's look at pharmaceutical as a small example out there. Not only looking at the farm is of course a longer thing. The CRO's job, the Chief Research Officer's job, has become all the more easier right now. The speed at which they can think about and address issues. For example, COVID came in. For us to basically come out with the first vaccine took a long period of time. We are still grappling with the issues in terms of testing and other things around there. Now those formulations, using the well-known AI models, you could do a lot faster. And the speed of that speed is going to dramatically change. India being the hub of so many people, India being the hub of pharma over a period of time, we are going to see a lot more discoveries happening in the country itself. And that is going to lead a lot to a healthier population to be over a period of time, hopefully. We'll have far better medicines, far better things to be given to our populations. So that is fundamentally going to shift the whole paradigm from what we are having right now.
Thank you. Over to Deepak. Where can India genuinely leapfrog global leaders in AI instead of playing catch up? And what structural advantages do we have?
Thank you so much. Honor to be a part of this panel. So I'll break the question in two parts. One is leapfrog. Right. I think India is already there in terms of being in a application space. Unlike the OpenAI, where more and more servers, more and more GPUs are the focus, I think India has got it early on. We have a huge plethora of applications coming in, and that's because of the way the country has always been, right? We have been diverse. We have been having a mix of both rural as well as urban culture coming in. The speed to reach out to the rural market has been much faster than any of the other countries, if I may say so. What we also look at is the impact which it creates, both at a societal level and also at a population-based level, right? When we look at these, I think the opportunity to leapfrog is phenomenal. Now, sorry, what was the second part?
The second part was, and what structural advantages do we have?
Okay. So structural advantages, I believe, is by nature, as a country, we are having a diversity of data, right? We have multiple languages, we have multiple dialects. That itself gives us a huge advantage. I also believe that, technology is not the challenge. The challenge for AI would be data. And that's been coming across in multiple, forums I've been interacting with. The earliest was about 2 years back when I interacted with someone very senior in NASSCOM. He said, if you have your data right, you have your AI right? And that's something which I've been encountering on an ongoing basis. How well do we, capture the data at source, differentiate between structured data, unstructured data, and then incorporate or ingest it in the relevant systems which we want to use AI with. Not just limit it only to the new models coming in, because it's not going to be model-centric, it's going to be data-centric. So are your systems, tools, applications which you're using, are they ready for AI? But before that, is your data ready? Is something which I believe India is focusing on right now, and that's something which is very good to see. The second advantage which we have is, from a structural perspective, we are a developer community, very big developer community. People love to, experiment, launch POCs, fail fast, pivot faster. I think that's ingrained in our culture. So that's changing the way we have been actually leapfrogging ourselves in this new, new paradigm. The third and most important is we have a huge MSME, segment, which itself shows that the power to survive and the power to struggle and then come out successfully is a big, big advantage which India will have.
Yeah. Thank you, Divya. To Shankar, okay. Can AI enable India's BFSI sector to move from financial inclusion to financial empowerment? Using alternative data, vernacular AI, and intelligent underwriting to serve next 300 million customer base?
First of all, thank you all for giving some insights. India is not one country. I believe there are rich Indians and there are poor Indians. There is nothing else. The poor actually do not want to be included financially because they say, "Mera hi 100 rupiya bank mein hai. I have to adhere to bank's timings. I have to make sure my signatures match. And if the fraud happens, no one helps me." So they don't want financial inclusion. Others may want it. Also, the rich people are the people who have enough money and peace of mind to actually create something. So today you see, say, Sharat Sanghi and Anindra, for instance, coming for NESA AI. They are putting in hard money and they're putting in the hardware. In India, unfortunately, people don't do all these things. One of the reasons is we have developed a culture where we cannot comment critically or negatively. If I don't tell my child that you are failing in maths, study hard so you will become better, we are not going to improve. If I tell him, no, you have done well, 50 marks aa gaye, bacche ho gaye 100 mein se. We have to start seeing where our negatives are. Even today, we are short of power. If you are going to go to AI server farms, where will you get the power from? The biggest fun, or rather the way people talk in India is, they'll talk about, say, renewable energy in the capacity that they have created. But actually, that is not the units of power created. The actual energy utilized or created is almost 15 to 20% in case of renewables. We require base power loads. For base power loads, they are not allowing them to run above break even for a substantial time. If the plant load factor is low, you will not get power. We are killing our power systems. So if the PLFs are low, today AI has given a chance that we can use that power. Second, neither US nor Europe actually manufacture much. They design. They get it manufactured in China, Taiwan, etc. India has the people who go abroad and they design it. You go to Qualcomm, you'll see half the people are Indian. You go to Intel, you go to any other company, even NASA, there are lots of Indians. But they can't do it in India. Why, If a person is sitting at the desk and thinking and failing, as you said, and pivoting faster, people don't want to pay the person. Now, every person wants to survive, earn a little bit and be sustainable. If we don't pay good talent, you'll not get good designers. We cannot design. Government should not start thinking of manufacturing first. Let us design. During the COVID period, for instance, manufacturing was almost not available. Most of the engineers who worked with me, they developed designs, they sold, and they earned in euros or dollars. For example, we've got the EU FTA now. People just talk about good things about it. What they don't talk about is how do we implement. One of the main problems for implementation of the EU FTA and getting India to advantage is that EU has some standards. Say, for instance, food standards or product standards. Our standards are much lower. You will see in India, if you have AQI of 80, it is considered red flag all across the Europe, but we will say, it is good, it is better than 500. We have to improve our standards. I remember when I was in IIT, for instance, IIT Bombay, the government of India at that time sponsored by buying 20 grams of gold for just a project of mine to complete my BTech degree. How many such sponsorships are available today? He talked about UPI. Why has UPI succeeded? The total cost of implementing UPI to the government today is less than 3,000 crores. If we let that be charged, you know how much the cost will be? 3 lakh crores. I am from BFSI sector. I know how much charges when we talk about mutual funds, for instance. People don't know if the TER is 2%. And if you invest yourself in an ETF, for instance, passive ETF, you'll save that 2%. It means so many multiple times your money is saved. You go to US, you go to Europe, everyone is using ETF. Insurance selling in India. In finance, we tell people that you should sell term insurance. How many companies are selling term insurance today? Take any insurance company. Ask them their term insurance policy. Very, very costly. You look at the medical policy. The hospitals will charge you much more if they know that you have an insurance. We have to get over it, and AI will find out all those faults. That is why many companies don't want to go to AI. I was implementing SAP, for instance. In SAP, you get all inputs, outputs, everything. Most of the time, the promoters will say, I don't want to show that this has failed so many times. I remember one of the HR systems, SAP HR I implemented, The director came to me and said, Shankar, whether the person is there in office or not, I want to mark his attendance. And I was surprised. I said, what is this going on? So why I'm saying AI will find this false. Today people using AI in India, it's like, makhi marne ke liye Bofors ka use hota hai. You want to find out, I want to know where Kohinoor Continental Hotel is. Why do you want to ask AI? Just go to Google and check. Because a search query on Google will cost you 10 times lesser power. And it's more meaningful. It's like, your child has some fever, you will take him to special, some MD child's pediatrician. It's not required. The first level, like for instance, when we talk about pollution, people talk about HEPA mask. I tell them, boss, first let the filter go as a normal mask and then use the HEPA mask. So we will survive AI. We will get AI, but we'll get more users than actual AI being implemented. BFSI sector is very far off as of now because the only place where BFSI sector uses this is in catching customers. The LOS and LMS. They capture your data, they put it. The main reason is none of the regulators has allowed AI to be used because AI will not be DPDPA compliant. And it is anyway not GDPR compliant, so hence worldwide they are not using it. The second part is most of the devices are authenticated. Like suppose you would look at your mail. The mail is not authenticated saying that, okay, Mr. So-and-so is checking it. It's a device, so even if I handle it, it will work. So AI has that problem that we don't know what happens. Like, I'll give you one more example, simple example. Almost everyone uses Instagram today. In Instagram, if you share me a story, the data regarding who has seen that Instagram, who has sent you, what time it has been sent, how many people have been sent, who are his friends, all this data is captured. India cannot stop it. India has been talking to make sovereign AI or sovereign. Nowhere in the world you can keep data in one location. At the most you can say, I want data here also. And people think only China is the most important thing. No. TikTok works in US. Why US doesn't think it is bad? But India thinks it's bad. We had enmity with China, for instance, and today we talk friends with them. We have to be diplomatic. We have to take help from all people. Like our Prime Minister normally says, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. We have to get everyone together and sabka saath, sabka vikas karna hi chahiye. And that's where we'll reach Viksit Bharat. Thank you.
Thank you. That was very interesting, Shankar. And on a lighter note, what you're trying to say is spare the rod and spoil the child. And if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. So, coming to you, Prashant. How do we ensure AI benefits not just large enterprises, but MSMEs, agriculture, and Tier 2, Tier 3 India?
Yeah, thanks, Prashant. Again, Prashant. But thanks for having me on the panel. So I think what we have been talking about, AI is here to stay. We all know that, right? And today we know that since everybody is using a mobile phone, that it is a technology which can be utilized by everyone, right? At the same time, we should also understand that there are so many good things, as there are good things with AI, there also could be bad things with AI, correct? And to make sure that MSMEs and other smaller entities do get advantage of this AI, I think what needs to be done is, it needs to be made a lot secure. Because small impact for a MSME, it could ruin them, right? The impact would be larger on a larger organization, but they may have the capability to absorb that impact, right? So we need to make sure that the AI, whatever is developed, the different platforms which are developed, they need to be very secure. Yeah. Other thing, there are a lot of places, I mean, it should not be limited only to your Tier 1 and Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities of India. I think it should percolate down to the rural areas. That is where the whole 1.4 or 1.5 billion population that we have, it will be impacted with that. And it will be able to utilize it, right? And for that, I mean, given that today internet goes to each and every corner of the country, I'm sure there are still some issues, right? And so not just rely on the LLMs, but I think India as such, I mean, it's not only the government, it can be a private and public partnership where we need to develop things on SLMs also. So LLMs, as you know, it has to have an internet and it can take a lot of power and so on and so forth. But SLMs, if they could be done offline, with much lesser power, maybe just 1/10 of the power and the computation that is required. If we can develop certain platforms on those lines, I think that will help. We are already doing few things. He mentioned about Bhashini, where integrating all the different languages. Then I know that in Telangana or Andhra, they are also for helping out the farmers. There is something called as Sagu Bagu or some app which is being used to, which brings the farmers closer to the technology and how they can increase their yield and other things. I think few steps are already there, but I think we will need to do a lot more to make sure that this happens.
Thank you. Coming to you, Deepak, do you see Indian fintechs evolving from being distribution innovators to becoming full stack AI native financial institutions? And what must change in today in capital regulation and infrastructure to make that leap?
Sure. So, yeah, the change is imminent. I think it is important to understand that we are going to move from data build-up to cognitive automation, and these sound like big words, but the fact is it's already available in some form or the other, right? There's a need and there are limitations of AI. So we all know that AI is not 100% perfect. You still have a higher success ratio, whichever I've seen in the multiple use cases we have launched is 70. I don't see it going beyond that. So it's like, the common point which I get to here is, if out of 100 transactions, 70 go across, but 30 fail, are you okay with it? None of the banks will be okay with it, right? But yeah, the cognitive automation can support. For example, a couple of use cases where we have used is for monitoring the quality of calls. When a call center, you have about 500 seats and you are monitoring the call. So these are use cases where we have seen effective use of AI, because it's impossible to understand every insight, every input given by the customer on the call, and capturing it and ingesting that data into a CRM in real time and being able to offer a real-time loan at that point in time. So we are always thinking about selling, but at the same time, if the customer is in a genuine need of something, and like the right example which was given was term insurance. How many of them are actually selling term insurance? So I think that's the change which is required. Autonomous decisions, the entire life cycle. The customer chooses how he wants to invest his money, and therefore utilization, and the company is developing AI to that level of autonomous decision making by the customer. That's the change I see.
Okay. Coming to Chandramouli, how do we build AI systems that are ethical, multilingual, inclusive, and trusted by 1.4 billion citizens?
That's a very important question, and at the same time, a tough one to answer, because companies across the globe have tried to build systems for India and have failed. Right? It's the Indian companies that are usually successful in building for the Indian ecosystem. So I have faith that the Indian models will be the AIs that will really build for India. Having said that, there are a couple of things that we can leverage today, which we have. Right? There is a thought process that is so unique to India that you do not see outside. Okay, I have lived abroad, I have come back, and I noticed one thing is the way we think is so unique, which is why our folks, when they go out, they are also more successful, right? In academics, in running companies, that's why we are at the top, even when we go out. That same thought process, if that can be translated into the AIs, that's going to give us a unique edge. Our ethics systems are also very unique. If you see, right, by default, we are inclusive. We have been in this location, right, since 2 days. None of us have ever thought about, where have you come from? Which part of India are you from? And all of that, right? So our ethics are inherently inclusive. If we can implement those ethics, right, we will be able to build AIs that are ethical, responsible. And, Prashant here touched upon a very important point about SLMs. A lot of companies today do not realize the value of SLMs for India. We don't really need, huge monolithic AIs like, what he said, which are going to cost you a lot of energy, which are going to be expensive to run. Small models that are very effective for your niche use case. You mentioned about, and he also mentioned about insurance underwriting, for example, right? You could have a very niche use case AI that is only focused on insurance underwriting. You don't need an OpenAI or a Claude, right? Most people here in the audience, if I ask them, can you name 4 models? How many can name something beyond GPT and maybe Perplexity because it was given free? Right? That's the challenge. Right? Today, we need to understand that there are portions of AI that can be done, implemented today. And those systems and the guidelines from the government, like we sit here in Impact AI today, yesterday, there was a discussion on responsible AI. Right? So those guidelines are being given by the regulator, which are very inclusive. Trust me, the guidelines that are being published are unparalleled as compared to the ones being published by Japan, UK, EU. All of these we have compared. And the Indian guidelines are a lot more better in the sense of being tolerant. The Indian guidelines are a lot more responsible compared to any other guidelines. So I think we are on the right path for that.
Yeah, thank you. Coming back to Prashant, will AI in India be more about job displacement, one of the biggest fears that is happening, or job creation? What skills must we urgently rewrite into our education system?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. And it has been a good question for quite a while. Because today we are talking about AI, but we have started talking about AI, I think, quite a few years ago. Just to touch upon, when I started my journey, I come with a IT background. So when I started my journey, it was mostly Unix and C programming, where everything was on premises. And then Windows came in, and then they said, oh, it's going to be so simple, people are going to lose jobs. Nobody lost a job. There were new jobs which were created. Then it went to the cloud, people are going to lose jobs. It didn't happen, right? And then AI came, we did automation before that, we used to call it automation, then AI, then Gen AI, now agentic AI. See, what is going to happen is that some jobs may become redundant, but there will be a need to do a lot many other things, right? So people are going to be needed for that. So many of you would remember about 25, 30 years ago, we had to stand in a line if we wanted to withdraw 500 rupees from the bank, right? And then the whole internet banking thing came up, right? The banks used to operate only till about 11 or 1 o'clock. And then after 1 o'clock, they used to actually sit and write all the accounts inside, right? Whatever happened during the day. When the internet banking came in, did anybody lose job? I don't think so. They spent their time doing other things. They served their customer from 9 to 5 instead of from 9 to 1, right? So there was more customer service. People started creating new products, banking products, selling new banking products. So jobs were only created. The avenues changed, right? Similarly, I think in AI, over the next few years, what we are going to need. So today we are talking about agentic AI, lots of agents which are going to be created. There are so many things which are in the pipeline. There will be Swarm AI and other things which are going to come up. So we are going to need a lot of people to be working on this, right? Now, how do you get ready for that? And what do you do to prepare yourself to face up that challenges, right? What you will have to do is, you will have to make sure that our people are trained, right? The infrastructure, I think we talked about it quite a bit. It needs to be developed, and then there should be a lot of focus on training people. There are a lot of online trainings available, digital trainings available. I think everybody should be incentivized to use that right from school level. I think that is what is needed. So we are not going to lose jobs. We are going to need a lot of people to program using AI. It's just that, the scheme of things may change a little bit, the technology may change a little bit, but we will have to keep evolving.
Thank you so much. Though there were many more interesting questions, but I think the computer is showing time's up. I want to thank you all for taking your time out from your schedules and being part of this event, and for sharing your insights and thoughts. I'm sure the audience quite loved it. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you echo with Mr. Pereira's comment of you liking and loving the panel discussion, I think that echo has to be through your applause. A little louder, please, as we thank all of them. And of course, let's take the opportunity of thereby inviting, since we have the two women who are also leading it from the front of N-Cube, so Ankita and Ankita, firstly, can you also join in and so then in that case, I just request both the ladies from N-Cube, so Priyanka, if you can also join in. We actually wanted to check if there's another lady also who could join in, but apologies, I don't know everyone's name in the room. Kriti Shah is there. Thanks, Priyanka. Do we have Kriti in the room? Where's Kriti? Okay. Nipa, you'd like to join in? I remember interacting with you. I definitely know your name. So, Nipa, you've not got an opportunity to be with us on stage yet today. Nipa, of course, has her own big forum which she runs, and I'm sure a lot of benefit can be provided to the speakers out here. Nipa, of course, please do connect with all of them post the event. Nipa, what's your forum called? I think the India FinTech Forum. She's the chief curator there, and of course, she organizes that entirely. So in a space of finance and fintech, of course, she's somebody whom you can connect with. Can I please request all of you to come together forward and allow us an opportunity to click you all in one frame as a group? Priyanka and Ankita and Nipa, please stay back if you can. Maybe on the left and right, we can split. Thank you. While the photograph is getting clicked, allow me an opportunity to transition to our next panel discussion.